السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أخوته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this great opportunity and tawfiq. Once again, we're together in this important night, and our condolences on the demise of Sayyidah al-Baneen. Inshallah, we will be like her among the true followers of our Imams and Ahlul Bayt, inshallah. Barakat wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد
We started our course about the secrets of worship. We talked about the importance of worship and the significance of worship in our life. We mentioned that what helps us and what makes us to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first and foremost, is the dignity and the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, who he is, the Almighty. And we mentioned that us, because of internally how and externally how we feel that we need to praise the one who is greater, the one who is better. When you see someone who is very knowledgeable, you start praising that person because of the higher knowledge. When you see someone has something that you don't have, if it's significant, you start praising that person. And because internally we are faqir, we are poor, we are all in need when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Almighty, the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I look at myself, how humiliated and small and minor I am towards. You look at yourself towards the sun, you see, what is this creation of this world and me? Sometimes you travel with airplane, you look at them, oh my God, what is around this world? And me can be a small piece of this puzzle, right? And you see yourself, compare yourself to Allah Almighty. The other reason we said is about the appreciation, the abundant number of favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He has for us. And we see that we have to worship, we have to praise someone who does good, gives us the benefits and favors. And the important part, we mentioned that we have to learn how to pray. We don't need to learn to pray. Internally, Ahlul Bayt, when they came, prophets when they came, they taught us who we should pray and how to pray. Hadith, beautiful, from Amir al-Mu'minin Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Actually, in Nahj al-Balagha, Amir al-Mu'minin says about Rasulullah, that Allah, فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ Rasul, He picked the Rasul, the Prophet of Islam, to be the Prophet. For what? The reason is that to teach people, instead of worshipping idols, worshipping who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يخرج عبادة of Allah من عبادة أوثان, instead of worshipping idols, worshipping who? Rasul didn't come to say worship. He came to say what? Who you should worship and how you should worship. We talked about this in different topics that we have. I'm going a little bit faster because we talked about this topic, if you remember. And then we talked about how important is salat. The most important ibadah is, you cannot see it. The most important ibadah is what is salat. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He ordered us to pray through salat, right? I think you have to do something here maybe. Salawat ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. So that's the significance of that, and we have to pay attention to salat, to very good. So then I'm going to go this way. So we mentioned about why do we have to pray. We talked about this, and we mentioned the significance of salat specifically. I want you to pay attention to this topic that I'm going to mention today. We talked about why it should be repetitive. Those who remember last session. Imagine a wise person, when he or she orders us to do something, we know that there is reason and wisdom behind this, for sure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He ordered us 5 times a day we have to pray. Not 1 time, not 2 times. 5 times a day. The most important part of your day, you should start, continue, and finish with praying 5 times salat. With that structure of salat, fiqhi salat that we're talking about, right? Have you thought about this? Why is so important? Why is so important that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us? We're doing it inshallah every day, right? Have you ever thought about this? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wants me 5 times a day to pray? He didn't tell me 5 days a week to fast. He didn't say 5 times a day you have to give khums. 5 times a day do any of the ibadat. Not mandatory. It's specifically 5 times a day you have to pray. I know there should be secrets behind this order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise He would not order us. If I sit here and I give a lecture and I'm not prepared for that, I'm, taking your time. I'm violating your rights. I was supposed to be prepared, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on top of all, He says, I will never violate the rights of my ibad, right? Then He ordered us 5 times we have to pray 5 times a day. There should be secrets that we have to pray. The whole course and theme is about this. What are these secrets? Our days are involved with this ibad that we have to. We talk about why it should be repetitive. The topic we mentioned, first of all, it's not even repetitive because each salah that we have is different than the other salah, right? And we mentioned that even in repetition, you gain a strength. When you eat more, the same thing. When you go to the gym, you do the same thing. You start what? Building your muscles. And human beings, the nature is this. You need to repeat for yourself in order to what? To learn, to get used to it. We're all like this. We even learn like that. So, inshallah, we're going to go to this topic and then we'll get to a very important topic. So I hope inshallah tonight we can end the introduction. From next week we can go to the actual topic of the secrets of salah, inshallah. So help me with this topic. We mentioned that, okay, so it should be repetitive. We talked about this. Why? What should it be in Arabic? Why not my own language? Why do we don't even understand Arabic, but we have to stand in front of Qibla and we have to all learn how to pray in Salah specifically, Hamd and Surah, and we have to. Bismillah. Who has the answer? The unity. Ahsan. So in order for Muslim to be united, right, we need to do the same thing, the same script, the same text, the same way to pray together. Very good. What else?
It's the language of Quran.
It's the language of Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the language of wahi and revelation, right? We have to have it.
And in all language, this is fasiha.
Ahsan, very important, mashallah. One of the best languages that you find is what? It's actually Arabic. Very rich language. A lot of terms and terminology you find in the language of Arabic. What else? Anything comes to your mind?
There's no speech as beautiful and common as the speech of Allah, and that's Quran, right? So that's
Okay. Very good. I mean, one answer. If not Arabic, what language? What language? Allah should talk and educate us. The Wahy should have a language, right? What language? Urdu? Farsi? English? Then we have the same question. right? Either Allah should talk to the Rasul in all different languages, it doesn't make sense at all, right? Or there should be one language. And he picked the region that is the most uncivilized region at that time on the earth. That they buried their own daughters alive, right? That the miracle is that Rasulullah within 23 years, they can change and make a revolution in that society and make those people to become what? Among the best of all people. Right? So there should be one language. So one is a very rich language. Quran says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. When you read, it will help you to ponder, to think in Arabic. And if you be familiar with the fiqh, topics, you will see that how many terms we have. For a camel that is 6 months old, we have a term in Arabic. For the one who is, for example, 2-3 years old, another term. For an older one, another term. Very detailed language and very rich language. And again, when you heard about this, it should be united among all, right? If we're going to have the most important version of Salat is congregational Salat. So in what language should they recite that you understand? It should be one way, to be united. The language of revelation, as we talked about, unity among Muslims, and it prevents different versions of salah and prayers, right? Otherwise, and you know that when you translate, even if you do your best, it's not going to be the same. It will be the most similar to the text, right? So therefore, there should be one united language. And again, this is the language of Prophet of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So now, to go into a little bit more detail. So how do we have to pray? Who should teach us? Who should tell us how we should pray? A lot of people say it depends on yourself, on your heart, how you feel about it. It's important to be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? If you're connected, who cares? Who cares about the structure? Is this true? Is this true? So it's not important to be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
No, that's what it's true.
Okay, so what part is not true?
We have to follow the rules of prayer and things like that.
Okay, so, but what if it stops me from reaching that connection?
Well, then you have to work harder to learn that stuff.
How to pray? We have to have something, right? Who should teach us to pray?
Prophet?
When before him?
Prophet?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Here's the thing, within the salat is for the reason what? To be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So He is the one who tells us how you're supposed to be connected to me. In what way you should be connected to me. He's telling us, right? It's not us who design something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, it's the relationship with Him. So He's teaching us, He's telling us how to be connected to Him, right? And of course through the Prophet of Islam and Ahlul Bayt, He teaches us, through Quran. There are a few things as an example I want to tell you how we should pray that we learn from Quran and Ahlul Bayt. Number one, if you want to pray, you have to pray with knowledge and awareness. You have to know what you're doing. I want to do something and I want to tell you to do it right now. Wherever you're sitting for right now, remember the last salah that you recited and you said. Everybody remember? The last salah that we said. Okay? Did you have awareness before you start your salah that what you're doing? How many of us we just stand and says, Allah Akbar, and if someone asks, what do you mean awareness? I'm praying. Did you knowingly know that who you're talking to? And did you have attention before? Let's say in Salat, we all unfortunately have this issue. In Salat, we get distracted, right? How about before Salat? Before I stand in front of, when I'm standing in front of Allah, can I deliberately, purposely, and say what I'm doing? Literally, I tell myself, I'm standing in front of who, what am I going to do? And attention. Yes, in the middle of the Salat, if you lost it, and if you remember, you come back. But before, put your thoughts together. I remember I had a teacher, one of my advisors in psychology. Whenever I was meeting him, before he started his session with me, he was taking his moment for, I would say 1 minute. So I was sitting, I was looking at what he's doing. I was sitting here, he's supposed to talk to me. At the beginning, I learned a lot from him. Not as spiritual that much as I know. He was taking his moment. Then one day I asked him, what are you doing? What are you? He said, I'm putting my thoughts all together. So I came here, I had a lot of things before I meet you. So I had my company, I had to take care of that. I had my students. I had some legal problem, I was supposed to do it, and 5, 6 things. I can't meet you while all these things are in my mind. And immediately comes to your mind, oh my God, that's what I need to do before Salat. That this psychologist is telling me before he talks to me, an insan, a human being, he put his thoughts all together. Literally, he was waiting. Literally, I'm telling you. He was closing his mind. It's like meditating or something, right? And I learn, I'm doing it by the way sometimes. Knowing as I'm sitting there. Then it was like, so what happened? He's like, I told all his thoughts. Stay away. Let me talk to him. When I'm done, I'll take care of you guys. How amazing. The whole world, thank you so much. Stay away, I'm going to pray. When I come back, I'll take care of you guys. We have to learn from everything and everyone in this world, right? The salat of someone who is aware and knows, the hadith says, an alim. Alim doesn't mean necessarily here and the scholar, right? Doesn't mean whoever is alim, aware and has knowledge about what he or she is doing, right? Better than 70 rakat of the one who is ignorant. Doesn't know what he's doing or she's doing. How important is this? It's the salat. The second thing, make sure you say and you pray it passionately. Not with kisal, not with opposite of passion. Be so bored and tired and exhausted in the sun for the world. If you have a chance, if you wait a little bit, you pass Abu al-Baq, right? Abu al-Baq is definitely more important. But you pass Abu al-Baq, so you're like, I'm just so hungry, I'm so tired. Go eat, take care of yourself, come back, stand before Allah with joy and happiness. Nishat. We have a wuzu, a different kind of wuzu. The mustahab wuzu is that wuzu with nishat. Nishat wuzu passionately. When you take wuzu, passionately. Don't waste water, but passionately. With good amount of water. Don't waste it, but passionately. Very passionate. So this is mashallah what he's doing, what he should do, right? Nicely and passionately. So you're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to show this passion. Hadith of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu was-salam. Don't feel that the ibadah is a burden. Salat is a burden. You have to get rid of it. It's a duty, it's a task. Salat again, Allahu Akbar. So finish it as soon as possible. Before Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, he's in the kitchen. Right? Before Salat is over, so mashallah is outside. Sometimes the Jama'ah happen, right? Before the Salat, the Jama'ah, Imam says Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh, you see brother is outside already. Is it like chain? Someone chained me and I can't wait to finish and pray and leave? Even if that feeling is there, fight with it. Train it. Train it. That's why alhamdulillah we try to make our salat not too long. When you go sometimes pray behind Maraja, sometimes some of them, mashallah, it takes forever to finish. Then it builds your sabr and patience. We know that if we do that, no one will pray behind us next time, so we have to make it faster, right? Alright. Third one, sincerely pray. Sincerely. Remember we said that before. What is the difference between our salat and salat of Amir al-Mu'minin? What's the difference? The same ruku, the same sajda, the same tayyat of rak'ah, right? The same structure. The difference is what? The intention, the sincerity, ikhlas. Look at this hadith, ayah, Surah Quran, Surah Bayyinah, ayah 5. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلَصِينَ لَهُ. While they were not ordered but to worship Allah, making their submission exclusively for Him. Make a mistake. Exclusively for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? This is the salah. You guys mentioned this, but one of the most important achievement in salah is what? It makes you khasha, humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did you see yourself in front of Allah. You are no one, I'm nothing in front of Allah. He gave me this tawfiq, but I can stay in front of Him and I pray. And He's listening to me. And He's listening to me. Remember that hadith of Qudsi that I said before? Sometimes we're talking to our children, they don't listen to us. Sometimes you talk to your employees, they don't listen to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He listens. The hadith of Qudsi said, I said that before to you, when my servants stand in front of me, when he or she stands and they pray, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Master of the whole world, Almighty. I listen to that servant as if I have no other servants on this earth. Subhanallah. When I remember this hadith, I get goosebumps. I feel ashamed in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I listen to Him as if I only created that person in the world. But when he or she stand in front of me to pray, they pray as if they have many gods and Allah. They're very distracted. So that's tawfiq. It makes me so humble. Thank you so much that you are. How many servants you have? You're listening to me? الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. They're very humble. One of the greatest achievements that we have to have from Salat. And Hadith says, pray, Rasulullah said, pray to Allah the way that you see Him is in front of you. The Hadith says, if you cannot see Him, He sees you. He sees you. And then, of course, another way they said, make sure that it's on time to show the respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to skip this part, some of the issues that can ruin our salah, right? Just review them. Hypocrisy, we all know about them. Arrogance would destroy the salat or the thawab of the salat. Committing sins would destroy the positive effect of worship. Imam Sajjad says, this is the Makarim al-Akhlaq. Exalt me and afflict me not with pride. Make me worship you and help me not to corrupt my worship with what? Ujb, self-admiration. Yes, mashallah, I'm praying on time, all the time. I'm praying, in Jama'ah, I'm praying. Then you're ruining that salat. Whatever you did, you're destroying it. Alright, so this is the important and serious topic here. We have two kinds of way that we pray, or the way that we deal with salat. One way is that how our salat will be correct. In what way the salat will be correct. The second topic is that how our salat will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We said there are two different things. The salat can be correct, but not accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are two different things. The salat that we saying, the best salat, the highest version of salat that brings salvation and kamal, is the salat that is what? Accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, tell me some of the conditions that comes to your mind about what kind of salat will be correct salat. Not accepted. Correct. It's very easy, you know the answer.
Following the rules of the salah.
Ahsan, following the rules of salah, the structure of salah, right? MashaAllah. What else? You just saw it, Sincere, yeah, the intention of salah, the goal of salat, right? There are two things. One, your niyyat in salat. They said if the niyyat of salat is not correct, if you want to pray for the sake of, let's say, hypocrisy, riyah, to do it in front of others. That intention, although the structure is correct, the intention will what? Destroy the correctness of salah. It's not going to be correct. The second one is the order, is the structure of salah, right? So tell me, what should be our intention or our goal in salah? Very good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's satisfaction, right? You won't get the credit because you picked it. So, Allah's satisfaction, that's correct. Last time that you prayed, when you had the intention, how did you review your intention? What was your intention? We usually say the same thing, right? For example, we don't have to, but again, in those sources, 3 rakat salat al-maghrib, Qurratan Allah, Allahu Akbar. That's it. You don't want to make your niyyah a little bit more creative? You don't want to make it a little bit more thoughtful? You don't want to think about, what am I doing? I'm standing in front of you. I'm actually I'm doing it to make you satisfied with it, because I need that satisfaction, right? Make that niyyah creative. Definitely the fiqhi perspective is what? For the sake of Allah. Qurratan Allah, Allahu Akbar, right? We know this. What else you can make it more creative? Tell me what else. What else should be the niyyah? You see? You're doing it 5 times a day. 5 times a day.
Acquired blessing.
To acquire the blessings of Allah. Yes. Yes, in intention. You don't have to repeat for yourself. For the sake of blessings, for the sake of rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else?
To remove evil from us.
To remove evil. Okay, good. What else? Appreciation of Allah. What else? To get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Good. Ya Allah, I'm doing it to fulfill my duties. Because you said that. I don't care if the whole world comes and says, why? Because you said it, I'm going to do it. Because I'm an abd. I have to fulfill my duties. Because you're worthy of worship. You're worthy to be worshipped. Because I have to. Because you're great. Because you're almighty. Because you're kabir. I have to stand in front of you. Are we doing these things and still we get distracted in the middle of salah? When you do something routine over and over, you don't have to think about it anymore. You know driving? You don't even think about driving. Why? Because it became habit. Pray as a habit. Remember? Last majlis we had said, don't come to majalis of Ahlul Bayt as a habit. It's an aada we have to come. Each prayer should be different. Each salah should, have different ways. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam said, only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want to reach the highest level of ikhlas, you should look at yourself. When you do that amal, do not expect anyone to praise you except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very difficult. Very difficult, believe me. Someone comes and gives the best lecture. Do not even expect someone comes and say, good job. It's tough. Only for the sake of you. No one else. Now we're talking about the structure. The orders of salat. That of course should only come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ahlul Bayt. To tell us about the structure. This is the easiest one. Hadith Rasulullah says, there is no value for speeches, actions, intention for anyone unless it's according to Islam and the Sunnah of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Someone comes, gives us inspirational speeches. If it's against the Sunnah of Islam, Sunnah of Rasulullah and Allah, throw it out. Throw it away. Somewhere it's going to hurt you. If you're listening to someone, to something, as long as it's not against Islam, that's fine. The two points, see what I'm saying? If it's not against Islam, someone is an advisor, someone is a psychologist, sociologist, so on and so. If their advisors are against Islam, make 100% be sure that somewhere is going to hurt you. Or there's no point in it. There's no point in it. But if it is against Islam, if it's not against Islam, it's according to Islam, that's what Rasulullah says. This is the one who will be beneficial. Even the intention of it. And then again, observing the rules, many other things that you know. The structure of salah. This is a topic about what? Making and having the salat that is accepted. Inshallah, we'll finish with this. So, like I said, next inshallah week we'll go to the topic of secrets of salat. Inshallah, salawat ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. Your salat, as I said, can be correct but not necessarily accepted. The salat that is correct but not acceptable is the salat that you won't be punished by it. but it doesn't help you to grow. The students would not be punished why you didn't do your homework, but that homework would not going to help him or her to learn anything. Amir al-Muslim, pay more attention to the acceptance of your action rather than the action itself. When you pray, many people says, when I pray, how can I have huzur al-qalb, to pay attention? So I'm going to pay attention to the meaning of the salah. Okay, very good. So if you're paying attention to the meaning of the salah, aren't you distracted by meaning of salah? If you pay attention that is my rukû correct? If what I said about Allah, is it this way is correct? Which is fiqh, we have to observe these things. Don't get me wrong, right? They're all important. But if my whole attention is to make it correct, then I'm not going to get that acceptance. One of the scholars said very nicely. He says the majority of people to go to Hajj, when they go to Hajj, the whole intention to have the Hajj that is what? Accepted, that is correct. Is it okay if I do tawaf like this? Is it okay if I sit down this way? My shoulder shouldn't get away from Kaaba, right? Is that okay? But they don't pay attention about what? Is this Hajj is the one that I'm supposed to have, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would accept it from me. That I gain from it. So each time I'm going to pray, I have to think about this. Is this the salah? How can I make it that Allah would be satisfied? The ultimate version of salah that will help me, right? There are a few things about this, few factors. Number one, the belief of the person who prays matters into the acceptance. Correct beliefs. I'm talking about the spiritual beliefs, right? Who I believe in. How? What kind of God I believe in. Many people, they believe in. Some people, they believe in a God that He created the world, but He has nothing to do with the world. He created something. Not the full version of Tawheed. So first, as the Iman, mashallah, inshallah, you guys have about who is God subhanahu wa ta'ala Almighty, is number one, is important. Second, which is very important, it can be political and spiritual. Whom am I following? From who I'm getting my orders, my salat, my knowledge, my Islam. Hadith from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wa-salam. Imam Sadiq says, if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you worship Him a lot, you spend a lot of time to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you're following someone who is not assigned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the point of this salah? You get my point? Let's say you're going to school, you're going to a company. You're working very nicely and a lot, but you're following the orders and the rules of the supervisor who is not assigned by the CEO of the company. Well, thank you so much for doing a lot, but is it what he wanted or not? Right? Not following Taghut politically. If someone in his mind or her mind is messed up, then everyone are good following those people who are killing, who are Taghut in Ayatul Kursi, in Surah Baqarah. What do we say? Those people who are worshipping Taghut, Allah take them away from Nur to Zulumat, to darkness. يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ مِنَ النُّورِ إِلَى الظُّلُمَاتِ. From Nur they go to. So now you tell me. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَوْلِيَاءُهُمُ الطَّاغُوتُ يُخْرِجُونَهُمْ مِنَ النُّورِ إِلَى الظُّلُمَاتِ. So if the wali of someone is Taghut means shaitan, Taghut means whoever is shaitan, ins or jinn, human beings or jinn. If the wali of someone is jinn, is the Taghut. If the one who is following Taghut is in zulumat and darkness, is the salat of that person going to be accepted? So how important that who will follow, right? Taqwa, إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ, Surah Ma'idah. It will be accepted from muttaqeen. The salat of non-muttaqeen can be correct, you get it? But not accepted. So how is it working? The more taqwa I have, the more thawab and the more acceptance. I get more closer to my salat be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you get that? Right of others. حق الناس. Hadith من صلى ولم يزك لم تقبل صلاة. The one who prays and doesn't pay the duties that they have. The salat of this person is not going to be accepted. I want to ask you, why do you think the salat of this person, what does it have to do with salat with zakat, salat with khums? What does it have these two together? Why the salat of this person will not be accepted?
The love of the work.
Huh?
The love of the work.
What do you mean the love?
If they take out, it's like spending money.
So what does it have to do with my salat? Well, I prayed.
The right of Allah and the right of other human beings.
Okay. So I did my right of Allah. What does it have to do with right of others?
Both are orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot pick and choose.
That's correct. I want you to elaborate it. What do you mean by that?
I mean, whether you either you follow the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or you don't, right? It's not your choice to pick and choose what you like and what you don't like.
The one who doesn't believe, the one who doesn't pay attention and respect this hukm of Allah, and he wants to pick the other one, she's doing it selectively. So I think this one is good, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do that. Remember, the salat was what? To get connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To be fully submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I pick this one, not that one, that means I'm not what? I'm not following Allah fully. Alright? Not insisting on committing sins. It's very important. Look at this hadith, a little bit scary, but it's important. The one who backbites behind the back of a believer, man or woman, doesn't matter. The salat and the fasting, the amal of this person would not be accepted for 40 days. Unless that person would forgive them. For 40 days the salat of this person will not be accepted. Of course, the one who is doing it purposely. Purposely, they know they're doing ghaibah and they keep doing it. The issue of the haram and that sins will be distracted. Ya Abu Dhar, iyaka wa hijran akhik. Another issue. Do not cut your relationship with your brother in faith, because the action of these people are not going to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you cut your tie. Let alone with your family members, right? This is the last slide I want to cover. Family conditions. Husn khuluq. Hadith. Bad temper. Su' khuluq. Can corrupt the action the way that the vinegar ruins honey. The one who is interacting with other people, specifically the family. I wanted to rate you guys, to hold you guys for this. The salat and the good deeds of a wife who bothers her husband will not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same for a man. Don't be so happy, I have to put this right. It's not my word, Allah is the hadith, وَعَلَى رَجُلٍ مِثْلَ ذَلِكَ. You see that? It looks like Rasulullah, he was dealing with the same issue, right? To man and woman. The woman that bothers her husband and prays all time, Salat al-Layl, MashaAllah, crying, connected to Allah. Forget about it. Hadith is Rasulullah says like this. A man, he goes to masjid all the time, everything, Salat and everything, and a'mal. وَلَا حَسَنَةٍ. Any hasana, any good deeds, that's the scary part. Any good deeds from that person, what's the point? I wanted you to pray, to learn to be nice with others, to have husn khuluq, right? So what's the point of this salat? Your salat might be accepted, might be correct, but not accepted. And the last part, children. The prayers of children who look at their parents with anger were not going to be accepted. Even though their parents oppressed them. Even the parents oppressed them. They were not nice, bothered them. You're not supposed to look at them like that. Subhanallah, how amazing is this religion? It covers all the parts. It makes balance among everything. That salat was supposed to make you what? Humble in front of your parents. That salat was supposed to help you to follow ayah Quran. So if you're not following this and you're praying for yourself. You're praying for yourself. And na'uzubillah, sometimes you see older or younger, it doesn't matter. See that how they're talking to their parents, what they're doing. So it's not just for children, right? So remember, husband, wife, brother in deen, remember the other religion? If you call your relation brother in deen, salah is not going to be accepted. So these are, alhamdulillah, we had the tawfiq to cover. Sorry, it took a little bit long because I had to finish this lesson. So from next course, inshallah, we'll go to the details. We'll start with tahara, we'll start with wuzu, the secrets behind wuzu. Why do we have to take wuzu? The secrets, inshallah, behind takbir, the secrets behind qiyam, that we have to stand and go on, inshallah, towards the salat and the secrets. So at the end, we'll have a good information regarding our prayers, inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammadin wa ajjal farajahum.